Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we're doing the What's Next on former two-time IBF champion Josh Warrington following his second pro defeat at the hands of mandatory challenger Luis Lopez when they collided on Saturday, December 10th in the main event of a DAZN card. Lopez came in there and took first half of the fight. I had him winning like around 4 or 5 rounds to 2. And then he just kept the pressure and he kept responding. But you know, second half of the fight, Warrington was really in it, but you could tell it looked like he was gonna be, you know, he was losing the fight. That's what it looked like in the second half. And like in terms of points, but he mounted a comeback around rounds 9 and 10 and pretty much stole those last 3 rounds. He almost stopped Lopez. But just a tough turn of events. When the scorecards are read, he lost a 12-round majority decision at home. And, you know, now he said he's not done. He says he wants to keep fighting. He'd love a rematch, but because this was a mandatory shot, rematches usually aren't in the contract. So, you know, now the big question is what's next for Josh Warrington? Well, I'm not sure if he goes after a top 10 guy right away, but, you know, we're going to run through the top 10 and see, because here's the thing. Warrington's up there. I think he's like 33 years old now. You know, he needs to stay consistent, and, you know, he didn't lose by much this time. He didn't get fucking knocked out like he did against Lara. So I think he needs to have that same kind of rush back to the ring. Now, it doesn't have to be a rush. He definitely needs to take his time, make sure he's healthy to come back, and then maybe, you know, I'd say mid-year he make a return to the ring. But you know, I don't think he needs to take too much time off and out of the ring, and I'd like to see him come back against the top 10 guys. So let's run through the top 10 and see what's possible for him heading into 2023 following this loss. Now we start with number 1, Emmanuel Navarrete, the current WBO champion. He's moving up to 130, and he's likely going to win a championship in a 3rd weight class. He's also fighting with Top Rank. You know, he's signed with Top Rank, so I'm not seeing Navarrete and Warrington being possible. Number 2 is undefeated WBC champion Ray Vargas. Vargas is also moving up to 130 in his next fight. He's going to challenge for the title at 130 pounds against O'Shaquie Foster. But win or lose, I don't see a fight with Warrington being possible, because Vargas is doing that next, and he's also a PBC guy. PBC and DAZN not likely to work with each other unless it's a mandatory fight. Then you got, you know, coming in number 3 is former champion Mark Magsayo. Magsayo's a PBC guy. You know, he's coming off of a loss too. He lost his belt too by a close decision, but he's a PBC guy. I'd love to see him and Warrington go at it, but he's a PBC guy, not likely that we're going to see it. Number 4 is Gary Russell Jr., another PBC guy. These guys couldn't get together and sign on the dotted line when they were both champions. Now that they're both former champions, I don't see this fight. Number 5 is Brandon Figueroa, the former 122-pound champion. He's also a PBC guy, and he's also got his next fight lined up against Stephen Fulton, you know, so to speak. I mean, these two guys have been ordered to fight, and I haven't heard anything that they're not going to fight in their rematch for the interim title, so not likely. Then you got Mauricio Lara. I would love to see this fight. Now, Lara does have ties to DAZN, and Lopez is and Warrington, this will be a 3rd fight. Warrington is also with, Josh Warrington is also with DAZN, so the fight is possible to be made, and Warrington should get a pretty solid ranking. He might even be ahead of Kiko Martinez moving forward in the IBF, but the top rated guy in the IBF is Lara right now. The number 1 and 2 spot are not there. Nobody's ranked there. But then number 3 is Lara, 4 is Kiko Martinez. So I think Warrington can move in there, and then it could be an eliminator if both these guys couldn't find anything else, and this will be their 3rd fight. They both might also be avoided fighters. So I'd love to see it. I think it's possible to be made, but do they want to fight? Or does Warrington want to fight Lara? I think Lara's down to fight Warrington again, but I'm not so sure that Warrington wants to fight Lara. Then we look at former, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. We're looking at Luis Lopez for a rematch. Lopez didn't say anything about a rematch. You know, I really think with Lopez having ties to Top Rank, you're probably, and because it's not a mandatory rematch, I think Lopez likely moves on and fights a Top Rank fighter like Michael Conlon or somebody, or Dogbe or Joet Gonzalez next. But you never know. He could say, hey, there's more money in a fight with Warrington, and I'll do that. But I think I'm favoring him to stay within his own promotion, Lopez, instead of a rematch with Warrington. You know, Warrington sits there at number 8 right now. You got banging out the top 10 are Michael Conlon, Isaac Dogbe. You know, as much as I'd like to see those fights, I doubt they happen just because they aren't all, they're both with Top Rank. So Warrington, I really believe, you know, he could get a fight with Lara if he wants it, and I would throw him right back in the mix. Other than that, it's kind of, you know, and even a fight with Lee Wood is on the table. I know Wood is a very, you know, he's a WBA champion now. That's a definite possibility if Warrington wants that fight. So I think a showdown with Lee Wood would be very possible for Warrington, but he's going to have to want the fight. And Lee Wood is going to have to want the fight. So we'll see. But I think Warrington's probably going to take a few months off. Well, because that was a banger. He did, you know, you could tell he was tired at the end of that fight. And he's going to take a few months off, get back to training. We'll probably see him back in like June area. I think earliest would be May, but I think we'll probably see him in June, get back in the ring. And again, hopefully it's against a good, solid opponent. I think Lee Wood's going to fight way before that. So I don't think it could happen then, but maybe those two guys can get together in the second half of the year, or maybe we could see a third fight with Lara. I think those are probably his two best possibilities at 126 pounds, and an outside shot of rematch with Luis Lopez. So that's it. That's what I got. That's the what's next on former 2-time featherweight champion of the world, Josh Warrington, following his defeat to Luis Lopez by a close 12-round majority decision. And that's what I got. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.